Let's see what Curtis is talking about. There we go. Come on, Curtis. Give me a little bit more of that. Okay. Come on, Curtis. Curtis Mayfield is a genius. Look at that. Get down.
To the funky, funky, funky groove. Get down, baby. Let the light reflect upon your natural mood. Get down, baby. Your creative mood shall express itself. Get down, baby. After life and desire, there is nothing left. We're all children of the world. A hungry man in search for a hungry girl. The extreme supreme of all cannibals. The most weighty and two-faced of all animals. Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! Take my soul, baby. When you're real, I can feel so much desire. Take my soul, baby. Life unfolds from my soul when it's on fire. So get down, just get down. The funky, funky, funky groove. Get down, baby. Let the light reflect upon your natural mood. Take my soul, baby. Your creative mood shall express itself. Take my soul, baby. After life and desire, there is nothing left. Get down. Get down! Get down! Get down! Come on! Come on! Get down! Get down! Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Where you gonna run to?
Nina Simone.
On that day, will I run to the rock? Please hide me and run to the rock. Please hide me and run to the rock. Please hide me, Lord, all on that day. But the rock cried out, I can't hide you, the rock cried out. I can't hide you, the rock cried out. I ain't gonna hide you down. All on that day, I said, rock, what's the matter with you, rock? was bleeding around to the sea. It was bleeding all on that day. So I ran to the river. It was boiling around to the sea. It was boiling around to the sea. It was boiling all on that day. So I ran to the Lord. Please help me, Lord. Don't you see me praying? Don't you see me down here praying? But the Lord said, go to the devil. The Lord said, go to the devil. He said, go to the devil all on that day. So I ran to the devil. He was waiting, ran to the devil. He was waiting, ran to the devil. He was waiting all on that day. I cried, power, 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 power,
sea. It was boiling around the sea.
It was balling all on the day. So I ran to the Lord. I said, Lord, hide me. Please hide me. Please help me all on that day. He said, God, where were you when you ought to been praying? Said, Lord, Lord, hear me praying, Lord, Lord, hear me praying, Lord, Lord, hear me praying all on that day. Said, oh man, you ought to be praying, ought to be praying, said a man, ought to be praying all on that day. I cried, power, 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 power,
Yeah, Nina Simone. Yeah. That was Nina Simone. Now we're going to take it to another level now. We're going to take it to a level that... No, we're not going to take it there. Yeah, I'm waiting for... I have some guests that's going to be calling in shortly, and so we're getting ready for them. Hold on a second.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Yes. This is Rick Young. Another segment of What's in Your Hand Radio. And I had a powerful show on Friday. Powerful guest, Tyson Hall. I want to thank him for coming in. Did a great job. And also, from the other side of the world, Cindy O'Sullivan. I want to thank both of them for doing a great job. And I left the studio, I was buzzing. And then I went to visit my mother. It was great. And then I get home and I hear this news about this shooting that happens up in Connecticut. Man. So let's say a prayer for the families and the children, those babies, those angels. Let's say a prayer for them. And wow. You know, we could do better, man. It's always a better way. No matter how bad the situation is, there's always a better way.
Here we are. Yeah. This one right here is for the people. The smartest dummies can't read the language of Egyptian mummies on a flag or a moon, and can't find food for the starving tummies. Pay no mind to the youths, cause it's not like the future depends on it. We'll save the animals in the zoo, cause the chimpanzee them a make big money. This is how the media villages, on TV the picture is savages and villages, and the scientists still can't explain the pyramids. Evangelists making a living on the videos of ribs of the little kids, stereotyping the image of the images, and this is what the image is. You buy a khaki pants and all of a sudden you are say Indiana Jones, and I take all the gold and take all the scrolls and even the bird bones. Some of the worst paparazzis I've ever seen and ever known, with the words on display so the world can see, and that's all that will ever show. So
the ones in the west will never move east and feel like a beer town. Get tricked by the beast, but away them a go flee when the monster is fully grown. Solomonic lineage where them still can't defeat and them coulda never clown. My spiritual DNA that prints in my soul and I will forever own, Lord.
Yeah, Sabali, that's patience. What the old folks told me. Can you give it that? Discovering the world before this world, a world buried in time, uncovered with rhymes. It gets no realer.
We born not knowing, are we born knowing all? We growing wiser, are we just growing tall? Can you read thoughts? Can you read palms? Can you predict the future? Can you see storms coming? The earth was flat, if you went too far you would fall off. Now the earth is round, if the shape change again everybody would have started laugh. The average man can't prove of most of the things that he chooses to speak of, and still run research and find out the root of the truth that you seek of. Scholars teach in universities and claim that they're smart and cunning. Tell them find a cure when we sneeze and that's when their nose start running. And the rich get stitched up when we get cut. Wanna heal them broken bones in the bush with the wet mud. Can you read signs? Can you read stars? Can you make peace? Can you fight war? Can you milk cows even though you drive cars? Can you survive against all odds now?
It's crazy. When you feed people the truth, you don't know how they gonna react. You're scared of wrongdoers, people that's just ignorant. You're scared of the truth. We patient for now. Who wrote the Bible? Who wrote the Quran? And was it a lightning storm that gave birth to the earth and then dinosaurs were born? Who made up words? Who made up numbers? And what kind of spell is mankind under? Everything on the planet we preserve and can it. Microwave it and try it, no matter what, we'll survive it. What's you? What's man? What's human? Anything along the land we consuming, eating, deleting, ruin. Trying to get paper, gotta have land, gotta have acres. So I can sit back like Jack Nicholson, watch niggas play the game like the Lakers. In a world full of 52 fakers, gypsies, seances, mystical prayers. You superstitious, throw salt over your shoulders, make a wish for the day, cuz like somebody got a doll of me, sticking needles in my artery, but I can't feel it. Sometimes it's like part of me, but I got a real big spirit. I'm fearless. Don't you try to grab hold of my soul. It's like a military soldier since 7 years old. I held real dead bodies in my arms, felt their body turn cold. Oh, why we born in the first place if this is how we gotta go? Damn. To all the wisdom and knowledge seekers of the world, Sabali, patience,
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Young, another segment of What's in Your Hand, motivational radio to get you motivated, to get you pumped up, get you ready to go out and go ahead and achieve your dreams. And we'll be partying Friday at Emmett Nation, December 21st, 2031 Adam Creighton Power Boulevard, between 121st and 122nd Street. Admission $10 at the door. There's a cash bar, and we will have finger food. It's gonna be fun. You know, WCR knows how to party. You know, you ain't been to a party until you've been to a WCR party. And say, when you go to the door, say, hey, I'm here to support What's in Your Hand. All right.
one thing real clear. To all my people getting down right here, we gon' party like this all year. So throw your hands in the air and wave like you just don't care. Everybody in the house, if you're ready to party, let me hear y'all say, oh, oh, oh.
All right now. You know, dance is like another form of exercise.
The bunch is here to make things clear.
Get that workout in. You know we need some exercise.
This is something different. Making a crowd go wild with our instruments. Raising the bar to increments. Stomp with the bunch and make dance. Hands in the air and wave like you just don't care. Everybody in the house, if you're ready to party, let me hear y'all say, oh, oh, oh.
All right now. Friday, December 21st. Christmas party fundraiser. 6 p.m. to midnight. Dance to some great house music. Image Nation, Raw Space, 2031 7th Avenue, between 121st and 122nd Street.
To the rear, we gon' make one thing real clear. To all my people getting down right
There's $10 admission.
Party like this all year. So throw your hands in the air and wave like
Cash bar, and we will have finger food. Oh yeah. All right. I'll see you there. No.
I'm doing better than good, better than most, sometimes even better than that. I'm speaking to you live from Nashville, Tennessee at the Gaylord Operaland Hotel. Well, hello, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be on the phone with you, and hope that you had a great weekend. I most certainly had a character-building weekend. I tell you, it was character-building, but it was worth it. I want you to think about some goals that you like to achieve and where you are in terms of your life and the things that you set out and things you said to yourself at the beginning of the year. And I want you to look at your life right now and look at the rest of this year. Here's something I really want you to do right now is I want you to take some notes because I want you to dig in right about now. This is a time that you have to plant yourself, plant your feet, dig in, and really work on yourself. I want to talk to you about several steps on how to make it during tough times. It was Robert Schuller. He wrote a book called Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do. And right now, when you look at the foreclosure rate, when you look at the number of people that are losing their homes, whose lives are devastated, and I know what that's like. I went through that experience myself. When you look at the number of people that are going through bankruptcy and people who have lost their jobs, over 200,000 who've lost their jobs, and people who are working on jobs where they have to do 2 and 3 different full-time jobs for one paycheck. One paycheck. They're stressed out, overworked, feeling overwhelmed, and not being compensated for their contribution, and no job security. When you think about that, these are some very challenging times. The president gave an address, never mentioned that we're going through a recession, never mentioned the devastation that so many people are experiencing right now. And so as you begin to look at that, here's how to begin to make it through tough times. I've been there. You talking about going through the valley. I've been through that valley experience, and I want to share with you what's most important that most people won't do. See, most people live their lives as thermometers. They live their lives from the outside in. They are responding and reacting to what's going on. They're driven by stress and by fear and anxiety. Can't sleep at night. I've been down that path. I know what that's like. When you can't pay your bills, you got all type of responsibilities looking at you, calling your name, and you don't have a clue as to how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to address it. And the thing is that as you begin to look at yourself, look at your life, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about what is it that you want for yourself right now. Now, what most people do, being thermostats in terms of their thinking, they're focused on the problems. They're focusing on the fact that they don't have any money. They're focusing on all of the negative things around them. Someone said that negative things are things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. I want you to focus on what is it that you want for you right now. What is it that will alleviate a great deal of stress in your life? And don't just say some money. How much money would do that? What will you pay off? I want you to be specific. What is it that you're going to eliminate? In order for me to become debt-free when I was in debt, I realized I had to be very, very specific about what I wanted. What was I going to do once I got the money? What was I going to pay off? What was I going to handle? And I want you to think about, as you begin to envision that, here's the other thing I want you to think about. You know, there's a quote that I love very much. It says, wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. Let me repeat that. Wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. So I want you to begin now to think about the kind of person you must become, and I want you to take the time tonight to write down a clear description, a profile of the kind of person that you need to become in order to become debt-free, to become the kind of person that will achieve the things that you want to achieve, the kind of person you need to become in order to start writing a new chapter in your life, in order to eliminate all of these things that are stressing you out. I want you to write a clear description of what is it about you, what radical change that you're going to have to make about you in order to get your life to the next level. I had to do that with me. And one of the things that I had to do, I had to learn to say no. See, one of the things that I looked at my life and why I was behind on my bills and my dreams, I was giving my time away. And I'm a person that had just found it very difficult to say no. And as a result, then I found myself up a creek without any paddle to make it back because of the fact that I was there for everybody, but when it came time for me, I couldn't turn to anybody. When it came time for me, when I needed some help, all the people that I helped, they wanted to help me, but they didn't have anything to help me with. There are people who are perpetually broke. They never have anything. Not everybody, but there are some people who are perpetually broke. I guarantee you the people that owe you money right now, they're not on this call. Because people who owe people money don't believe in self-development. They don't believe in motivational coaching calls. They don't go to seminars and workshops. They don't invest themselves and buy motivational materials that can begin to expand their minds and stimulate their imagination. They don't do that. And so these individuals are people, they're takers. In life, they're givers and they're takers. The reason you're on this call, you're a giver. I attract givers. And so you give a lot. And so the people who give a lot, we need too. We go through some stuff, too. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I needed to be motivated. The motivator needed some motivational words and encouragement to be uplifted. I need to hear a word. I needed someone to speak into my mind and my heart and spirit with conviction. And it was a tough time, and I was embarrassed by that. I was embarrassed when I was in pain and hurting and going through that challenge. And I couldn't be up. And I wanted to be. It was tough. I remember when my youngest son, asked me, Dad, are you going to die? I said, why are you asking me that? He said, because you're not acting like yourself. You're not the bubbly personality. You're not going out much. You're just staying in the room a lot. What's up? I mean, are you going to die? Is this going to kill you? And I thought about that, and I said, just leave me be. And I went in the room, and I thought about it for a while, and I came back. I says, no. I got angry. No, I'm not checking out now. And what happened to me that day, I had so many people telling me that, oh, my brother died from prostate cancer, my uncle died from prostate cancer, my neighbor died from prostate cancer. And so many people telling me about people who died from prostate cancer that I began to start making my funeral arrangements. So one of the things that you've got to do right now, as you look at yourself, look at your goals, and look at your dreams, you've got to begin to monitor your mind. Don't spend time looking at television. Don't spend time reading the news. Don't spend time listening to conversations about what's going on as far as bankruptcies and foreclosures and how bad the economy is, and over 200,000 people lost their jobs. Don't spend time dwelling on that stuff. Get the Reader's Digest version of that stuff, but you spend time right now. You take an hour to 2 hours every day listening to motivational messages. every day listen to motivational messages. That's what I did. I was unemployed. I had resigned from the Ohio legislature. I went back to Miami to take care of my mother, and I had to reinvent myself. I had to begin to deal with the fact, here I was trying to take care of my mother who was suffering from breast cancer. And let me tell you something, when you don't have any money, and the person who was there for you, who took care of you and began to look out for you, when you don't have any money and you are there and you're the person that will begin to have to take on all the responsibilities as I had to do for my mother, let me tell you, that's a tough thing. That was tough to see my mother suffer, and I couldn't take her place. I couldn't stop the pain. It's tough. People just don't know if they have not gone through that experience. They just don't know. And so as you begin to look at your goals and dreams, you got to take some time to work on your mind, to spiritualize your thoughts, find inspirational books that you can read 10 to 15 pages of something positive every day. I do that right now, and I'm cancer-free, I'm debt-free, and I'm drama-free. In fact, I'm reading around 30 to 40 because when things happen to people I know and care about, they happen to me as well. And so, therefore, I have to fortify myself, and you have to fortify yourself. You have to begin to fortify yourself by listening to positive messages day in and day out and reading 10 to 15 pages of something positive every day. And I want you to go to my website, and I'm going to tell you something that I want you to order for yourself. I'm going to give you something special just for you so that you can listen to help you take you through this storm that many people are going through right now. But you can handle this. Tough times never last, but tough people do. So you want to begin. And why is it important, Les? The reason that you want to do that is because, see, how we live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. So you listen to the news, they're telling you the story about how bad things are. Well, I don't focus on that, so that doesn't apply to me. I'm not a part of that. I'm not going through recession. My business is off the hook. I'm doing extremely well. And so, I mean, when I look at what happened to me in the past, I remember looking at the news and being mesmerized by what was in the newspaper and on the front page and engaging in conversation. Man, isn't it bad out there? Man, ain't no jobs out there nowhere. I remember getting in negative, toxic conversation. See, 2% of people in this world, they run things. 2% of people in this world, they're making some money. Everybody ain't broke. I was looking out my balcony in Chicago yesterday, on Saturday morning, and there were people cruising down the river. They weren't broke. They ain't stressed out. They're doing real good. Everybody's not broke. Everybody's not facing tough times. 98% of people are going through life right now in this country and around the world. They're going through tough times. They're going to have food riots all around the world, unlike we've ever seen before. That's what the President of the United Nations said. I didn't say that. That's what he said, food riots, because of poverty around the world and because of the financial, economic crises that people are going through right now. So you've got to begin to focus on building yourself up so you can live your life from the inside out as opposed to from the outside in. Be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I'm going to give you something that's going to help you do that. Here's the other thing. You want to begin to look at your relationships. My son, John Leslie, he's a speaker. He said, what they call him high hopes out there in Los Angeles. He said, who should you count on and who should you count out? Right now, you don't want to be around flaky, negative, toxic, broke people. These takers, you want to separate yourself. I don't care if it's your blood. You've got to separate yourself. This past weekend, it was a life transforming moment for me because I've been working in this business for many years, and I've spent time with my oldest son, Leslie Calvin Brown Jr. He calls himself L. Calvin Brown. He lives in Jacksonville, and it was a special moment in my life as I sat on the couch and talked to him and went to the bank with him, and I changed everything in my business, and I said, you are now the CEO of this company. You run everything. I now work for you. I'm your speaker. And now we are changing the guard now. I can do that which I do best is speak, but now you're going to run this company. He's very bright, very intelligent, and I know he will be able to do the job. And so this is a major transition for me. And even just the first day getting started, he made some very, very good decisions that saved me thousands of dollars and alleviated a great deal of stress in my life. And I went to sleep that night with such a peace in my mind, because a good man leaves a legacy for his children and for his children's children. And I said, thank you, God, that I've got children who have the vision and have the discipline and have the character to further this work, that when I'm gone, that they'll be able to further this work. And because he's a good single father, and my sons are great fathers. I don't know where they got that from. Great fathers. These guys are going to impact my grandchildren's lives and my grandchildren's children's lives. And so this transition in my life, and I realized that the only way that I got here is what I'm sharing with you now. Number one, expansion of my mind by reading and listening to motivational messages. 98% of people don't do that. They're too busy. They're too busy in the rat race of life. They don't take the time to do this. And I'm telling you, and many of you listening, only 2% of you are going to do what I'm telling you to do right now. You just won't do it. And most people don't know you don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. Where you are right now is a result of your state of mind. You drive by a community, and that community reflects the state of the mind of the people in that community. And as you look at yourself, look at your goals, you have to constantly have a regiment for mindset maintenance by listening to motivational messages. Next thing is, as I was talking about, surrounding yourself with people that you know you can count on. Most people in life don't understand the value that people rub off on you. I had a call today from a lady who was telling me about they're bringing me down to Miami. Ms. Les Brown coming back to Miami to speak at the Caleb Auditorium in Liberty City on June the 14th. And this lady who called me, I said, hey, you sound like Mary Tumpkin. Dr. Mary Tumpkin, Universal Truth Center, is a pastor there and also the interim pastor at Christ Universal Temple Church in Chicago. She said, yes. She said, a lot of people say I talk like her because I've been around her since I was 4 years old. See, when you're around people, there's sometimes you pick up their mannerisms, you pick up the slings, you pick up their talking pattern. People rub off on you. You got to look at your relationships, and you got to ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? See, it's a 30-year study done. You hang around fat people, you're going to become fat. You hang around poor people, you will be poor. Why? Because it's communicated. It's a mind virus. You hang around people that have a thug-like personality, you pick up a thug-like personality. You hang around people that curse all the time, you start cursing. You hang around people that are negative and all they have are just negative conversations and talking about nonsense, all they're consumed with about what's going on in sporting events, watching other people live their dreams, or American Idol. When you don't have any money, you don't have time to sit around watching television. I'll never forget one Sunday afternoon, I called a friend of mine, and when I was living in Columbus, Ohio, named Steve Skilkin. And I say, Steve, man, let's watch a football game this afternoon. And I left that message on his answering service. His mother called me back and said, Steve is not here. I said, he's not there? So she said, no. I said, where is he? She said, he's downtown. He's at the office working. So I called him. I said, Steve, hi, man, what are you doing? He said, I'm working. I said, come on, man. Come on, let's watch a football game. He said, no, I got to work this weekend. I said, oh, okay. And I hung the phone up. Now, Steve lives in Bexley, a very wealthy area, right outside Columbus. He lives in Bexley. I was living right on Rich Street in Columbus, Ohio, poor section, in an apartment, a two-bedroom apartment, didn't even have a back door. Behind on my bills and my dreams. My son's on the floor crawling in front of the television set. I'm calling Steve, whose father, Joseph Skilkin, had built shopping malls around the United States, who had died, left Steve over $300 million. Steve was working on a Sunday afternoon. My dumb broke behind calling Steve and got a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of, calling Steve about watching a football game. Now, how stupid, Mr. Buckethead, was that? How stupid was that? How could I afford to watch a football game, watching other people live their dreams, and here I am living in a two-bedroom apartment, didn't even have a back door. Like, only people I know live in a house that don't have a back door is a dog. Dogs don't have back doors because they can't open them. And so here I was living in this matchbox with my sons and my wife, and I'm watching football games. I'm talking about, did we win? Give me a break. They couldn't even afford season tickets. You hear me? That's the craziness. Wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there.
Wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. Now, we moving into 2013. I think we're going to be bringing it serious, just like this. This is the only way for us to bring it. We got to bring it serious. All right, go get them, Les.
And so on that day, I have never been able to sit down and watch a football game on Sunday evening after that. From that day to this day, and let me tell you something, in order to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. 98% of people can tell you the games, who's winning, their record, their performance. They can tell you about what's going on television. They can tell you about what's going on in the news. Let me tell you something. The people who are making a difference on this planet, the people who are controlling their financial future, they don't know anything about that foolishness. No, they don't. No, they're so focused on getting ahead and staying on top, they are totally consumed and creating a totally different reality for themselves. I'm telling you, in order to make it in life, the road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that will find it, because few there be that are willing to discipline themselves. Few there be that are willing to turn off the television. Few there be that are willing to separate themselves from negative, toxic, energy-draining people. Few there be that are willing to be serious, as serious Donna Satchel would say out of Atlanta. You got to be serious today. Playtime is over. You've got to be serious today. You want to make it today? You've got to be serious today. If you're not serious, trust me, they will sit your behind out. Trust me, they will have a truck come up to your house, and they will take your stuff out of the house and put it out there in the lawn, and the people who said they felt sorry for you will steal it. I've been evicted before, and before they called me at work, and before I could get to my apartment in Detroit, the people in the neighborhood stole everything I had. Do you hear me? And when I got there, it was gone, and nobody saw anything. Tell you what I know. It's bad to be evicted. It's bad. It's bad to be foreclosed on. It's bad. However, keep in mind, tough times never last. Tough people do. I pray. They say, he might not come when you call him, but he'll be right on time. He was late. I prayed, Lord, please don't let him put me out. They put my behind out. I was speaking in tongues. I was reading scripture. He was late. I prayed. He was late. I plead the blood. They said, get out. Move out the way, Mr. Brown. Would you step outside, sir? And they put our stuff out. I'm telling you what I know. But tough times never last. Tough people do.
Tough times never last. Tough people do. Let's get a little bit of Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. Hold on a second.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Let's get a little bit of Dr. Kimbrough.
About 3.5 years into it, I can tell you anything and everything you want to know about a black millionaire. They get up about 5:30 in the morning, call it a day, 10:45, 11 o'clock at night.
Okay, good. Hold on a second, all right?
Cars. If one car's not a Lexus, the other one will be Mercedes. If one is not a Mercedes, the other one will be a Lexus. And they own 3 other automobiles. No beating on the chest, no look at me for black millionaires are not about that. Appraised value of the house, less than $300,000. Less than $10,000 in credit card debt, black millionaires. 69% either finished or attended college, 1 out of 5 business majors. Black female millionaires, my data shows 19%, almost 1 out of 5. Black female millionaires in college, GPA 3.4, black males 2.9. They all broke 1,000 on the SAT. Church attendance, 2 to 3 times a week. Did you know black millionaires go to church 2 to 3 times a week? That means a service and either Wednesday night Bible study or some type of auxiliary board meeting. Did you know that? Oh, the size of the church? No mega churches for them. The size of a church, less than 2,500 members. They come in the back door and they leave the back door. Black female millionaires, they tithe. They give 10% of their earnings to church. Black males, they give 10 to 15% of their earnings to charity. They exercise 3.5 hours a week. Black males, golf, tennis, a little bit of weightlifting, jogging. Black females, golf, tennis, yoga, aerobics, and gardening. Black male millionaires, when it comes to buying habits, clothes, they're off the rack. Off the rack. What you see is what you get. Black females, Cartier, number 1, St. John, a little bit of Dolce & Gabbana, and a splash of Gucci. But when I ask this question, oh my goodness, the response, 99.9999, the one common chord, the one, surefire antecedent, surefire precedent that you are on the path to millionaireship. I asked them, at what age did they break the 6-figure barrier? At what age did they earn $100,000 a year or more? Came back 99% of the time by age 30. So if you're 30 years old and you're earning 6 figures plus, don't buy my books, don't listen to me. Baby, just keep doing what you're doing. Let me get out of your way, because obviously you already know what's going on. You have solved this money issue. You have more whites worth 10 to 30 million than you have black millionaires. One question that I asked them, what is the number one problem facing black America in terms of economic development? And they said, passing on, I'm paraphrasing. I should know my own data. Passing on the keys to economic success. And I'll never forget, I didn't interview him once. I interviewed John Johnson of Ebony magazine twice. And what do we know about John Johnson? He created the black consumer. Oh yeah, we know he created the black model, but he really created the black consumer. And there I am up in his Chicago headquarters, and I said, Mr. Johnson, what is the key to success, achievement, peak performance? And he said, before I answered that question, he said, it's really like a relay race. I said, what do you mean translate, Mr. Johnson? He said, well, a relay race isn't won or lost on how fast the runners are. You can have the 4 fastest runners in the world. Relay race is won or lost on how capable one runner passes the baton from one to the next. And he said, you can use the same metaphor and analogy with black America. He said, man, we have many successful people, but if we don't pass that baton from one generation to the next, forget success and achievement. And he went on saying, lane number 1, we might have Colin Powell, and lane number 2, we got Earl Grays, and lane number 3, Oprah Winfrey, and lane number 4, whoever, Tyra Banks, you name it. Men and women who have run the race of their lives to come around the final turn, coming down the straightaway, holding this baton called success, leadership, and achievement. And we have to make sure the next generation is fit, focused, ready to run the race of their life. And God bless you, 100 black men, for what you are doing. I genuflect. I get down on one knee. Thank God for your tireless effort. Because I'm not so sure the next generation is fit, focused, ready to run the race of life.
Wow, that was Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. We need to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back. We got guests ready and locked and ready, loaded and ready to go. We shall return.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
It's WHCR's annual holiday party fundraiser on Friday, December 21st. Party time is 6 p.m. with some of WHCR's hottest DJs who will keep you dancing to some of the best house music in New York City. WHCR's annual after-work holiday party fundraiser will be held at Image Nation's Raw Space, located at 2031 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, between 121st and 122nd Streets. Admission is only $10 at the door, and there will be a cash bar. It's WHCR's annual holiday party fundraiser on Friday, December 21st from 6 p.m. to midnight. Image Nation's Raw Space is available for your next event. For more information and rental rates, visit imagenation.us and click on Raw Space, then choose Rentals. The world-famous Apollo Theater invites you and your family to celebrate the holidays next Saturday, December 15th at the free Coca-Cola Winter Wonderland under the famous Apollo marquee. It's free fun for the whole family with giveaways, choirs, picture taking with Santa Claus, and more. While you're there, purchase your family price tickets for the December 15th Amateur Night Holiday Special, featuring the Stars of Tomorrow winners and special guest recording artist OMG Girls. On December 20th, Sweet Honey in the Rock share music from many faiths around the globe at their Celebrating the Holy Days concert. Finally, the Apollo's annual Kwanzaa celebration returns December 28th. For details, visit apollotheater.org. Holidays at the Apollo is sponsored by Coca-Cola. It's WHCR's annual holiday party fundraiser on Friday, December 21st. Party time is 6 p.m. with some of WHCR's hottest DJs who will keep you dancing to some of the best house music in New York City. WHCR's annual after-work holiday party fundraiser will be held at Image Nation's Raw Space, located at 2031 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, between 121st and 122nd Streets. Admission is only $10 at the door, and there will be a cash bar. It's WHCR's annual holiday party fundraiser on Friday, December 21st from 6 p.m. to midnight. Image Nation's Raw Space is available for your next event. For more information and rental rates, visit imagenation.us and click on Raw Space, then choose Rentals.
Yes.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Yes. This is Rick Young, another segment of What's in Your Hand radio at WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. We are in New York City, in Harlem, on the campus of City College. It's an institution of higher learning. Wow. Love that. And on the line, I have, let me bring it up. On the line, Herbert Harris, are you there? Is Herbert Harris here yet?
This is James Bone Crusher Smith.
Okay, we don't have Herbert Harris yet. So, we have James Bone Crusher Smith, former heavyweight champion of the world. How are you doing today, James Bone Crusher Smith?
Blessed and highly favored. How are you doing?
Well, you heard the little piece I played by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough down in Atlanta. I'm doing very, very well. Now, I was a professional boxer myself at one time or another.
How long did you fight?
Well, we won't get into the years, but I'll say about 4 or 5 good, it's about 6, 7 good years. About 6, 7 good years. Someone that notable that I fought was Buddy McGirt, of course. We had a good fight in Madison Square Garden. You fought in Madison Square Garden, didn't you?
That was my biggest fight. That's when I won the title.
Against Tim Witherspoon.
1986.
Now, you mean to tell, see, you know, Les Brown, I was playing a little bit of Les Brown before you came on. He talked about being ready and prepared. You were ready and prepared. You took the fight on 7 days' notice?
Yes. I was ready, willing, and able.
All right. Wow. Okay. And what people need to understand is that being ready, being prepared is powerful. You know, being ready.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, let me ask you, like, what was it like being heavyweight champion of the world? I know you've been asked that question before, but what was it like being heavyweight champion of the world?
Well, first of all, it's a personal thing. Just believing and understanding that at that particular moment, and life, even will live to be 100 years old, life is just a moment compared to eternity. But at that particular moment, you're the best in the whole wide world. I mean, that's a great feeling for a little country boy like me, for anybody, really. But for a little country boy like me from a small town in North Carolina, that grew up on a tobacco farm, and all of a sudden he's the best in the whole wide world. He's going to, and from now on, as long as he lives, and then being part of history, people will read about it and talk about it. Right on. I mean, right on.
Well, the other thing is that now this is even more powerful. I don't know if that still stands, but you were the only champion with a college degree.
I was the first.
The first.
I was the first. And see, once you become the first in anything, I mean, the first is always going to be first.
Now, people will say a college degree and then to get into boxing, but like, what made you want to do boxing after having your college degree? They say, oh, you should go get into business or get into something else. Why boxing with a college degree?
Well, to be first. I mean, to be first is something. I started doing research. And at that particular time at Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina, on the doorsteps, I was sitting down there, and I said, you know, Muhammad Ali was my favorite guy. I said, you know, he's the greatest. I said, but he didn't graduate from college. And I started doing research, and nobody at that particular point had graduated from college, heavyweights. And I said, you know, if somehow or another I could start boxing, and then somehow or another I could win the title, I could be the first college graduate to become heavyweight champion of the world. And really, I got it started on just what ifs. And I think thinking out of the box and believing and start doing what ifs. What if this? What if that? What if this? I mean, you know, I think people need to do more of that.
Yeah, and actually you started late. You started at the age of 28.
At 28 years old, and then to be notified on a 7-day notice, and then to do it at the in New York City, the media capital of the world, and on top of that at Madison Square Garden, and then do a first-round knockout on top of that.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's just and against a guy that already beat you. I mean, Witherspoon had already beat me the year before.
Okay.
But I got mad, and I got mad. And to me, mad means make a decision. That's the name of my book. Mad. Make a decision.
Okay. And Tim Witherspoon was a very good fighter.
2-time heavyweight champion of the world.
That's right. That's right. Very good fighter. Now, what did you learn about life through your boxing experience?
Well, I learned that, you know, once you decide that you're going to do something and you work at it, you got to work hard. And that, you know, it's the work ethic. No matter if you're doing radio, boxing, sports, or no matter what you're doing, it's the work ethic and how you want to prepare yourself for the next day. Preparation.
Right. And so do you carry those principles that you learned from boxing still today in everyday life?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was introduced to you by Herbert Harris. How did you meet Herbert Harris?
Well, Herbert is an attorney down here in North Carolina. He lives in Wilmington, and my ex-wife's an attorney. I think we need attorneys. Attorneys is very important. And I think every house needs an attorney in it.
I would I would think so. You know, when you start getting into them legal documents, you're gonna need an attorney to figure that out.
That's right.
Well, let me ask you. So you in North Carolina? Are you in North Carolina now?
I'm in North Carolina right now. I'm in Durham, North Carolina.
Right. Now you presently live in North Carolina.
No, I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay. But you're originally from North Carolina.
I'm originally from a little small town called Magnolia, North Carolina. I'm in this area now because yesterday I lost one of my favorite aunts. I went to a funeral and I just kind of stuck around visiting friends. And due to a death in the family and to a funeral yesterday, that's what brings me to North Carolina today.
Yeah, I'm from Georgia, Savannah.
Yeah, that's not far from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, have you ever been to Savannah?
Plenty of times.
Okay. Okay. All right. So as a boxer, you admire Muhammad Ali?
He was the greatest. How can you not?
Right. That's right. I when I was little, I admired Ali also. You know, and saying that is very important for young people to have someone like a Muhammad Ali to look up to, or like a James Bone Crusher Smith to look up to, and says, hey, here's a boxer with a college education. That's powerful. That's pretty powerful. That is definitely a strong mantle to stand on.
Let me add to that. I agree with you, but let me add to that. Not only that he's a champion for Christ. He's a college graduate, champion for kids. That's my mentoring program. I have a national mentoring program called Champion for Kids. And then he's a champion. He's an ordained minister. And then if you Google Bone Crusher, you don't see any kind of stuff that come up. Knock on wood. So far, he lived almost 60 years. And you really probably never heard anything negative or bad about him. I mean, you know, we got all kinds of athletes to get in trouble and do all kinds of crazy things. It's so easy to do as an athlete, and it's so easy to do as just a regular person. But as an athlete, if you do something crazy, it's going to be magnified and glorified. Maybe not glorified, but it's going to be magnified, and it's going to make that person look silly. And if you look at my record, though, like I said, knock on wood, yeah, you won't see anything crazy like that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because let's look at Dennis Rodman as a basketball player. He said, you know, he was playing good basketball and he was grabbing these rebounds and nobody noticed him. He said then he started coloring his hair and then he started getting all this attention. So that's why he started doing all this crazy stuff. How do you feel about that?
That's bad. I mean, because he's a you know, as a professional athlete, we are role models, whether we want to be a role model or not. So there's going to be some kids out there that say, well, I want to, if that's what he's doing to get attention, I want to do it too. You know, but, you know, my book and different things in the community, you can still get attention. You can be on the evening news, and this is what I tell the kids. You can be on the evening news for doing something positive. You don't have to go out and shoot somebody or stick somebody up and do something silly to get on the evening news. If you do that, you definitely going to get on the evening news, but that's not the way you want to do it.
And speaking of evening news, you know, we just had this incident in Connecticut on Friday morning. It was very, very sad. I mean, babies is a very sad situation. I mean, what's your comment about that?
Well, you know, I'm going to say something. It's probably going to upset some women out there, but I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say it because I believe it. I mean, you of all the coverage that you've gotten about this incident, you don't hear people say anything or very little about this guy's daddy. And I think one of the problems is that these boys, especially boys, are trying to be the mothers. I mean, mothers do. I mean, I love my mama. My daddy died 6 years ago, but there's a place for fathers. And I think the absence of fathers, and I think, see, a daddy would give a boy tough love. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always good. And I think a father gives a boy the right kind of, it's just a taste of the right stuff. You know what I'm saying? And mama can give, but there's a time in a boy's life, he needs a father and a daddy. Even girls, they need a father there. And I think the absence of the father is causing crazy things to go on because, and it's just like that kid out there in Kansas City that shot his girlfriend and shot the NFL player that shot his girlfriend, then he shot, you never hear anything, then he shot himself. You never, in that situation, you don't hear them say anything about the people's daddy, but I think the daddy would give him an understanding that you can't do that. And see, the daddy would say, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. He's not going to really kill the child, but he's going to make the child feel like he'll kill him. You know what I'm saying? What do you think, brother? Huh?
Yeah, well, you know what? I believe that definitely we definitely need our fathers to be a part of what's going on in their family's life. Definitely, without a doubt.
The Lord's Prayer, the beginning of the Lord's Prayer says, "Our Father, who art in heaven." They don't say our mother who art in heaven. They say our Father who art in heaven.
All right. Now there was another program that I caught a program on ESPN called 30 for 30, and it was called Broke. And it was about all these athletes, football players, mostly football players, baseball players, and boxers that made lots of money and wound up broke. They were going to the strip clubs, and they was buying jewelry, they were buying the cars, they were buying the big mansions, and they wound up broke.
Lap dances.
Yeah, they wind up broke, man. I mean,
man. I mean, it's just common sense. Now, you got to use some common sense, man. You can spend money a lot faster than you can make it. Have you ever heard anything about Bone Crusher being like that?
I have not. I have not. I have not. I've heard that you're working with youth. You're doing a youth program. I've heard that.
Yes, sir.
And I heard that you have a boxing program, a boxing tour with boxing legends coming up, and we're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, again, why do you think that these athletes they get this? I mean, well, first of all, they raised up poor without any money, and all of a sudden they have millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I guess they just don't know how to handle that money.
Well, at some point, you got to just, and really all the way through, you got to use some basic common sense. And I think just because you come into a lot of money, you still got to use some basic common sense. And I think too many times you got to. I believe also you got to remember where you came from, and and like you said, where they came from was a broke situation,
right?
And all of a sudden, they're in the limelight, and they're interested in some money, and they just don't know what to do. You have to be trained. I mean, you have to be trained by someone how to deal with that.
Right. So how come you didn't lose your mind when you first seen them big checks start coming in?
I was trained, man, and I think being older when I came into that. I mean, I was 28. When I won the title, I was 30-something. When I really came into some nice money, I was old. It seemed like I've been old all my life.
So hey, but I've seen some old people because, they have the thing with lottery winners. They win, and a lot of them wind up broke. They lose their mind. Well, the guy might be 50, 60 years old, and all of a sudden he want to get a girlfriend 20.
Well, I think too. I think the Spirit of the Lord has kept me humble, and I think that is a missing thing. We allow the devil. A lot of times, people money, have you access to the devil, and so once you have access to money, then the devil's gonna come upon you. And really, I think if we stay grounded by the Spirit of the Lord. Wow.
See, you see that? You see. Wow, money can actually get you in trouble. This is what you're saying. When you got a whole lot of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, because the spirit of the devil gonna come upon you.
Wow. Wow.
What do you think?
No, I mean, well, I have to. You have access. It gives you access to things and gives you access to trouble. Absolutely.
And you got to be able to identify it. You got to be able to tell the difference between the devil and God.
Okay.
You can't curse God either.
And I noticed that a lot of guys, when they get money, the first thing they want to do, and a lot of times when they get in trouble, is at the club. They want to go to the club and to the bar.
I'm headed to church this morning, and I'm headed to church. And you can't forget God. It ain't about the club. Down in Myrtle Beach, man, I got access to clubs, everything down there. But at night I go to bed. I just go to bed. I don't go to the club. I'm a single man. And I'm exposed to a lot of stuff. But I just go home, man, by myself. I go to bed early, and I get up early.
Now, what's the big deal about the club and the bar? What is the big deal? What is the big infatuation with that?
With the girls falling all over you and all kinds of crazy stuff. Sin. Drinking. And you see, one thing leads into another. You start drinking, and then you start flashing. You got the bling on, and you got the car out there, your Mercedes. It's one crazy thing that leads into another crazy thing. And all of a sudden, once you spend up all your money, then you don't have no friends. And when you got plenty of money, you got plenty of friends, girlfriends, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Now, what did you learn? You spent some time around Don King. He's got a lot of criticism over the years. I think he's a very smart individual for where he came from, the way he is now. What did you learn? What's your take on Don King, and what did you learn from Don King?
I'm gonna say it in an analogy. I'm not going to directly say it, But I was suing Don King in 1986. And I dealt with Don before. I dealt with him in 84 and 85, and he was my promoter. And when I knocked out Mike Weaver in the first round up in New York, Don had promised Mike Weaver a title shot with the winner of Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks. So when I knocked him out, I flew out to Las Vegas. I was saying, if Don had promised Mike Weaver a title shot, and he beat me, since I knocked him out, I'm going to go out and see if I can work out a deal with Don about me fighting the winner of Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks. So, long story short, I flew out to Vegas and I met Al Sharpton and for the first time, and he took me up to see Don. And we made a deal that I would fight Larry Holmes. Really, it was for me to fight Larry Holmes, but Larry had talked trash about the media, and they were trying to compare him and Ali with Rocky Marciano. Larry was trying to break Marciano's record. So, long story short, I signed a deal with Don to fight Larry. And Michael Spinks will beat Larry. And now, I said, Don, what we're going to do is Don said, well, I don't have a champion now. So I said, well, I got a promoter that can get me some fight. So Don said, I'll sue you. So we start suing each other. And one day, December 1986, Don called me up. Bone Crusher, this is Donald King. I said, who? He said, this is Don King. I said, hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing, Don? He said, Bone, I want to settle this lawsuit with you. I'm going to give you that title fight that you sued me about. I said, Don, where's the fight? He acted like he didn't hear me. He said, Bone, it's going to be against Tim Witherspoon, the guy that beat you last year. I said, Don, where's the fight? He said, Bone, the whole world getting ready to see you shine on HBO. You got a chance to shine on HBO. I said, I'm going to ask Don one more time, when's the fight? I said, Don, where's the fight? He said, Bone, it's going to be at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be next week. Now, you can draw your own conclusion about that. If a person give you an opportunity on a 7-day notice to fight a guy, 15 rounds, that just beat you last year, now what kind of person you think that is?
Well, I don't know, he's a businessman.
He's a businessman. And see, that's where being ready, willing, and able comes in. And see, there's an arrow on a FedEx sign. You ever seen a FedEx sign? You see FedEx trucks all the time in New York. And there's an arrow in that sign, and most people don't see. And when somebody points to that arrow, you'll never look at that FedEx sign the same way again, because you're going to see that arrow in the sign. And just because you don't see, the moral of that story is, just because you don't see the opportunity, don't mean the opportunity is not there. And not only did I see the opportunity, I seized the opportunity. Seize it.
Right.
And the rest, I guess you could say, is history.
Right. Hold on a second.
Yes, sir.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Young, host of What's in Your Hand on WHCR 90.3 FM. And on the line, I have James Bone Crusher Smith, former heavyweight champion of the whole wide world. That's the whole world, not even part of the world, the whole world.
The whole wide world.
Tell me about your youth program, Champion for Kids. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I go around and I share my story with kids and encourage them to make good decisions and stay in school, get their education. At the same time, we do a summer camp right around Father's Day, because there again, I'm very passionate to encourage fathers to stay in the household as long as they can. I know it gets hard sometimes, but stay in that marriage as long as you can, because our kids and our grandkids need us, especially the boys. It's just a thing of encouragement. And then I have a amateur boxing show that's coming up January the 12th in Myrtle Beach. And we'll bring North Carolina and Virginia and South Carolina and Georgia. We bring these young kids to come together. They'll do boxing competitions. We got an after-school boxing program. We're going to get started in the middle of January. We're going to train young kids and the kids that want to box. They're going to have a situation they can box But I just want to put a website that people can go and pre-order my book. It's called Mad, Make a Decision. And that is www.makeadecision.webs.com. They can go and pre-order the book. There's a website there. We thought we were trying to get the book out, launched on 12/12/12. That would have been awesome, but we're running a couple months late. And the book probably going to be come out in February due to Black History. We want to do our kickoff probably. Now we probably want to do it at Shaw University and try to get to a lot of the historical black colleges and me doing speak to the student body and encourage them to continue their education, study hard, and we got some other opportunities we got for them. If they want to become entrepreneurs.
Now, wait a minute. You said make a decision. Now we're making decisions all the time, whether it's the right decision or the wrong decision. But what about making the right decision?
Yes, sir. But that we had to. That's the name we chose. Make a decision, and then as like you said, there are consequences of the decision you make, and that's either good consequences or bad consequences. But it's the truthful consequences.
Yeah, because even if you don't make a decision, you have made a decision.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Just like the name of this program is called "What's in Your Hand."
Yes, sir.
That means what can you do? What kind of talents, abilities, gifts, and skills do you have? And then using them. What's in your hand?
The Bible says that we can do all things through Christ, who strengthens us.
All right.
Okay? We can do all things through Christ. That's scripture. That's word. We can do all things through Christ that strengthen us. That's scripture.
Well, I didn't say anything because I know you're an ordained minister, so that's why I'm listening now.
Yes, sir.
And today is Sunday.
Yes, sir. And I'm on the way to church.
Okay, all right. Now tell me about this tournament, this boxing tour of former champions, and what's going on with that? What's the situation with that?
Well, I'm not going to really do that. It's so, and one of the reasons I'm not going to do that is, a lot of the boxers, they're just not on point. It's hard to get them organized, and I'd rather spend my time trying to get the kids on board. The kids really I think is the way, because the kids are at the crossroads of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kids will go either way. I mean, if kids have a good mentor, they'll go the positive way. If they got a drug dealer out there trying to pull them one way or the other, they'll go that way. You know what I'm saying? So they're at the crossroads, and they're so impressionable, and they'll go either way.
Right. Well, I have a young man in the studio here with me now. His name is Chuck Colbert, and he said that he definitely wouldn't mind going a couple of rounds with you.
Well, hey, what you do, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you some advice, okay?
Yeah.
And this is advice to everybody. If I was you, I'd go to www.youtube.com and I type in James Bonecrusher Smith, and there's going to be a fight on there where I won the title. It's Smith Witherspoon 2. I take a good look at that. Might want to watch it. It's so short, you might want to watch it 2 or 3 times, and then I'd make a business decision on whether you want to continue this conversation. I ain't telling nobody what to do.
Yeah.
There again, but I am going to say it's going to be a consequence to all of our action.
Right. Well, I saw Chuck the other night. He said he been boxing. He said
probably ain't gonna like it.
Yeah, I seen Chuck the other night. He said he been in the gym since 1982. I said, wow. He said he been in the gym 30 years.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Okay. All right. Well, So that's too bad, because that would have been nice, man. Seeing them guys, box, move around. Because you know what, Jerry Cooney had a house in New Jersey, and you walk in the house, and the house was like a gym, a little small house. It was a gym, and he was sparring with a guy that I was training at the time, and he said that I'm a better fighter now than I was when I was fighting. And I guess it's something about you just learn, you get this knowledge that you gain as you get older and wiser. You just get wiser as you get older. Do you agree with that? Did that happen for you as well?
No, I believe that you can't fool Mother Nature.
Well, we know that. We're not talking about fighting competitively, but just knowledge-wise.
Yes. I think we're supposed to gain knowledge and experience as we go along as we get older. We're supposed to become wiser as we go along, but we also become weaker. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful in what we do, the actions we take. So we're supposed to be more knowledgeable and just use that in a good, positive way.
That's it. So what's your plans now for this? I mean, what do you want to do with this youth program? Like, where do you want to take this youth program?
Well, I want to give kids an option of and see. I think I know if it's going to be positive, and we're going to get on the evening news of doing something positive in the community, and we can get on the evening news, and the message and the moral of the story is we can get on the evening news without going out and shooting somebody or stealing something and getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Now, what work are you going to be doing with Herbert Harris, author of 12 Universal Laws of Success?
Well, Herb is one of my mentors. He's got a program, and I got limited time with. I've only got limited time with his product. I'm on this product, and I share it wherever I can. The product that Pretendum, the product, I use the product. I put it on my face. It keeps my face pretty and nice looking, and and I'll share it with people wherever I can. But Herbert was supposed to be on this call. I think he might have overslept this morning. I don't know.
Ah, okay. Okay, all right. Now, when are you coming? Anytime you come to New York City anytime soon?
Yeah, why don't you text me your cell phone number, and I'll let you know. I got a sister living in New York City.
Okay, all right. That sounds.
No, she's a pastor up there. She got a church up there. So I'll come up there and we'll get together and go get some coffee.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. And then I'll bring Chuck along there. You can get them couple of rounds in. Y'all get.
Well, I want Chuck to go ahead and watch that YouTube first.
Yeah, he's laughing. He's laughing now. He's laughing.
Hey, let me give you my cell phone. I'm gonna put my cell phone out there and see if most celebrities don't do this. You want to talk to the heavyweight champ of the world, a guy that can talk to you on any level. My cell phone is 910-658-3408. That's 910-658-3408. Call me, text me. I want to talk to you. I want to be a mentor to you and to everybody. I want to share my story. It's an interesting story. I want to talk to you about making decisions, because there's a consequence for every decision we make. There's a truth and a consequence.
Now, Bone Crusher, now you know people going to call you, and then you said you were single too. People going to call you. They don't want you to share them millions. That's what they're going to want to call you for.
Call me.
Wow. So do you follow boxing, the boxing that's going on now, today? Do you follow it?
Yeah, I watched it. The big fights I do. I mean, I watched Pacquiao last week get knocked out.
Yeah. Wow. Do they have shows down there in North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean they got one of the things is pretty popular now is that MMA thing. I mean, and that's one of the reasons I want to try to get boxing coming back.
What is that? What is that? A sandwich? What's that?
Mixed martial arts.
What is that? A sandwich?
Yeah.
What is that?
I mean, you hit a guy, you hit him with the elbow, and you crawl down through his legs. I mean, they say, well, Bone Crusher, what do you think about mixed martial arts? I said, I have a problem with one man crawling down through another man's leg and then elbow him and hold him down and choke him and then tap out. I mean, what in the world is that?
I'm not interested. I am not interested at all. Not a little bit. I mean, I'll tell you, some of the training that they do, I think is they do some good training. Yeah. But as far as like, no, I don't. No, I'm not with that, man. That whatever you want to call it, mixed what is it? You said mixed vegetables, mixed string beans, or something. What did you say? What was it? Mixed.
Well, they said mixed MMA, mixed martial arts. You know what it is. Come on.
Yeah. Wow. Well, other than winning the heavyweight championship, what has been your greatest, the greatest accomplishment in boxing, other than winning the heavyweight championship of the world?
Well, to raise 2 daughters and to be a good husband and a good father, and to see my daughters, both one of my oldest daughter live in Washington D.C. She got a master's degree. She's a librarian, and my baby daughter is in grad school right now. She's getting her master's degree, and she's going to be a librarian. And to see them to kind of follow my footsteps in a way, but staying out of trouble, being good people. I think being a good person first is the key to success. And that, that's the big deal in my life. And like I said earlier, is just being a good person. And then you can be a good champion. You can be a good a reporter. You can be a good, you can be in media, whatever it is. But be a good person first. And that's my call, and that's my challenge to people. Just be a good person, and respect yourself and respect other people. That, to me, that's a big accomplishment.
Well, I definitely I like the way that sounds, because as a young guy growing up in Harlem, I never thought that I would be a boxer or a professional boxer. I had 22 professional matches, and I never thought that I would do that as a young guy, growing up. And so to accomplish that, I thought that was great. And then now, to be a radio host, I didn't have any aspirations to be a radio host, but opportunity presented itself. Like you got the call from Don King.
Yeah.
You can say what you want, but he gave you that call.
That was an opportunity.
He gave you opportunity, and you seized the opportunity. So we can't, we can't knock him. We can knock him, but we can't knock. He did present you with opportunity now.
I didn't knock him either. I was very careful with the words I used.
Right.
I just told you the facts, and then people had to decide what that facts was to them. I just shared with you the facts, and then we had to call it is, and we call it what it is.
Right. Okay. Well, I know you're gonna give me the website for the youth program again. That's very, very important.
Yeah, my website for my mentoring program is www.championforkids.org. For that, www.championforkids.org. And then for my book, if they want to order my book, pre-order, it's makeadecision.webs.com. www.makeadecision.webs.com. And I'm documenting my life from the age of 6 right on up to 1986 when I became the heavyweight champ of the world. I got mad. I made decisions throughout my life, but I made good decisions.
Right. Now we need to check on Herbert Harris, because Herbert Harris has never not shown up. So we got to check on him and make sure he's all right. And because I spoke to him yesterday.
Yeah, I spoke to him last night.
Yeah,
the thing about it is, I know he's on those products, and when we get our age, strokes, a heart attack, anything could happen. We could be laid up in the hospital somewhere.
Yeah, well, we hope he's all right. I know. I'll give him a call when we finish and reach out to Herbert Harris. But he's been a good friend and a mentor to me as well, and I really admire Herbert Harris. And that
do too.
And that book that he wrote, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And we hope that Mad will be a masterpiece as well.
Absolutely. I believe it will, because everybody has to make decisions.
That's right.
And I want you to text me your contact information.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that when we finish. And it's funny because when I tell people I'm doing radio, they say, "Oh, really? You doing radio? You doing boxing?" I said, "No, not really. I don't do a boxing show. I do a motivational, inspirational show." I have interviewed Emmanuel Stewart, who made his transition just recently, and we had an interview. I did interview Mark Breland. and I think now you. Those are the only boxing people from the boxing world that I've interviewed. Isn't that something?
I feel honored and privileged.
That's right. That's right. You okay? But now, just before we go, I want to talk a little boxing. I'm you might not know my teacher. My teacher was Bob McQuilla. Who was your boxing teacher? Your boxing coach?
Emil Griffin.
Emil Griffin. We know Emil Griffin, right, Chuck? Yeah. We know Emil Griffin. Who was your first boxing coach? Didn't you start in the army, in the service?
Yeah, Herb Ruffin. He's still in Germany. I started in Germany. Herb Ruffin. I just talked to him last week, and he still lives in Germany. Yeah.
Right. Wow. And what do you think is the most important punch in boxing?
Well, and really I kind of learned this from Emo, and really I kind of picked it up myself, was I was right hand. I was probably remembered as one of the best right hands in boxing. What I would do, though, I would take a step to the right, and I'd fire that right hand into the left ear.
Into the what?
And they say, I'll fire my right hand into a person's left ear.
Okay.
And it really don't take much of a shot. I mean, because it's going to knock a person's equilibrium off. It's going to basically knock him off balance. And they said, well, champ, why would you hit a man in the left ear? I said, well, my goal was to take the left ear and drive it to the right ear. And I knew it would drive it through his, my goal was to try to drive that left ear through his brain to the right ear. And I knew if it didn't get all the way over there, my opponent would be like Elvis Presley. He would be all shook up.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. What do you have planned for the rest of the day?
Well, I'm headed to church. I'm going to have breakfast here in a few minutes, take a shower, have breakfast, and then I'm going to church, and I have a business meeting this afternoon in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I trained for many years with the soldiers, with the Delta Force down at Fort Bragg, Fayetteville, at 3 o'clock.
All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you for being here this morning, for coming here and sharing a part of your story, and stepping in the ring with me this morning and going a couple of rounds on the radio here. And I definitely appreciate it. My first heavyweight champion interview.
Yeah.
So
when this book is released, I'd like to come back on the radio with you. I want to stay in contact with you. Probably in honor of Black History. We're going to roll this book out in February in honor of Black History, and we're going to have our press release probably. Hey, we might come to New York and have the press release, but our first stop on our tour, we wanted to be at Shaw University, where I got my BA degree, Bachelor of Arts degree, in 1975.
Shaw University. Is that in North Carolina as well?
That's in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wow. And then is that an all black university?
Historical Black College. Historical Black College, yeah.
All right. Okay. Man, that's great. Bone Crusher Smith, I want to thank you. Heavyweight champion of the world. They says, once a champion, always a champion. Do you still have access? You still have the belt, right?
Still got the belt.
All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, heavyweight champion of the world, James Bone Crusher Smith. Now, I remember when I first started seeing you on ESPN, and they would call your name, you would make these faces to the camera. What was that all about?
Well, it was an intimidation move. The eyes.
Right.
It's amazing. All these years later, I mean, I was with my little cousins yesterday at the funeral, and their parents had told them, now, if you get to talking about Bone Crusher, you get excited, he going to show you them eyes. I said, ask him to show you. And that's why they said, can I see your eyes? I said, well, you see my eyes. He said, you know what I'm talking about. Right. The Bone Crusher eyes.
Right. All right, Bone Crusher. Well, listen, thank you. And we are getting ready for the next show. I want to thank you. You've been a great guest today. And we'll continue keeping contact. Can't wait till the book comes out. And I'll see you then.
Thank you very much. Let's stay in touch.
All right. Talk to you soon now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Young, another segment of What's in Your Hand Radio. Former heavyweight champion of the world, James Bone Crusher Smith. All right, that was fun. I'm gonna get a chance to talk to a lot of boxers. So we're getting ready for the man is here. The man is in the building. He's here. He's ready to rock the house to give you some good gospel for your soul. So we're gonna finish up with. We're gonna finish up here with a little bit of. Nope, we're not gonna do that. So I will see you next week. I got a nice show. I got a great show lined up for next week. Great guests. We're gonna continue this series on marketing. Have some marketing experts here. And Brother Kirk Franklin. That's a good way to go out. As my Uncle Wiley would say, whoever you are, wherever you are, be the very best that you are. And I say, Rick Young says, punch hard. I say punch hard, punch often, but don't forget to duck.
Where are my blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.
I'll be honest with you.
I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now.
When I think how much better I'm gonna be when this is over.
I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while.
What you do?
I smile.
Come on and
smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now.
God's people.
You look so much better when you smile. So smile.
Now every day ain't gonna be perfect, but it still don't mean today don't have purpose. Come on.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds and it's dark in my heart and it feels like a cold night.
It ain't easy, but
today's a new day. But tell me, where are my blue skies?
Where is that love, y'all?
Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.